This is from Likkutei Sichos Chelek Tes Vav, the second Sicha of Parshas Miketz. What's the difference between Chesed and Tiferes? Chesed means that there's a recipient and a giver, and the giver is giving to the recipient. The Tiferes means Rachmanis. Rachmanis means that the giver is giving to the recipient. So in both cases, Chesed and Tiferes, the giver is giving to the recipient. So what's the difference then, technically, practically, result-wise, between Chesed and Tiferes? We understand Gevura is specifically withholding and not giving. For whatever reason that Gevura determines that now is not the time or the right conditions under which to give. But what's the difference between Chesed and Tiferes? And the answer is that Tiferes is a blend of Chesed and Gevura. Now Chesed is compared to water because Chesed is generosity, but without the fire of Gevura. Gevura is compared to fire. And so therefore Gevura has a fervor that Chesed doesn't have. And if you can blend Chesed and Gevura together, then you will have generosity of Chesed along with the fervor of Gevura. So you'll have fervent, passionate giving as opposed to simply the giving that happens with Chesed. And that's the advantage of Tiferes over Chesed. Chesed is only Chesed, and Tiferes is a blend of Chesed and Gevura, and therefore, although it gives like Chesed gives, but it gives with a fire and with a passion that you can only get from Gevura. So, in this week's Parsha, we learn about how Yosef was putting on a stoic face for his brothers, pretending like he doesn't know them, disguising the fact that he's their brother, until we're told that when he saw Binyamin, and he had a conversation with Binyamin, and Binyamin told him about how he got married and how he had 10 children, and he named all of his children after Yosef, and he named all of his children for Yosef's suffering and for Yosef's travails and how he was lost amongst the nations. At that point, Yosef began to lose his resistance, and he began to melt, and he had to hurry before he would totally fall apart in front of the brothers. And so Rashi addresses the Torah's words in Nichmeru Rachmav. The Torah says Yosef rushed to continue the drama and get on with it, because Nichmeru Rachmav, his mercies, Nichmeru. Rashi says Nichmeru means his Rachmanis was heating up inside of him. Heating up. He was on fire with Rachmanis. And Rashi makes it abundantly clear that that's what Nichmeru means here, that Yosef was on fire with Rachmanis. And that's why he was having a very hard time holding himself back from telling Binyamin and the brothers who he was. And so here you had a blend of Chesed and Gevura, which is why Yosef was having such a tough time withholding from telling his brothers. Now, this great story is the story of all of our lives, because every Jew is called Yosef. As the Torah says, Noye Katzayin Yosef, the Torah refers to the Jewish people as Yosef. And everybody has a neshama, and the neshama has in it a spark of godliness, and that's referred to as Binyamin. And Rashi, by explaining first of all the inspiration that Yosef took from Binyamin talking about him, and then in the next Dibra Maschil talking about Yosef's great rachmanis that he felt, teaches us how a Jew should meditate and reflect upon the greatness of the neshama that he or she has inside of them, and then move on and give a thought to how big the rachmanis is on the neshama. First, consider the fact that the neshama is called brother, Hashem's brother. That's how closely associated it is with Hashem. And that the neshama has 10 parts, like Binyamin's 10 children, and each of the 10 parts of the neshama are bound up with Hashem. And then think about whether I am living my life according to that level of the neshama, and then I will feel the kind of rachmanis, the kind of irresistible rachmanis that Yosef felt for his brothers, which will in turn inspire the kind of rachmanis and from Hashem to us.